been taught English in school for 12 years, and by the end of those 12 years, I was not able to create one real proper sentence in English. I could understand it, but I couldn't speak. Probably most of you guys are in the same situation right now. Then I decided to change something and I started focusing on this language. And in these videos, I share with you the strategies I use to improve my English for completely free and alone. This is the third video of Improving English Completely Alone and Free video series. On the first video, I talked about grammar, listening, and I gave you an amazing pronunciation tip. On the second video, which was also the previous video, I gave you a reading method which will help you to make you a better speaker, which will enhance your pronunciation and which will make you a better reader as expected. This is the third video of the series, and in this video I'm gonna talk about writing and I'll give you some tips for memorizing new vocabularies. And I have been working on English intensely for more than a year right now. And this was me 1 year ago. I keep my books in here, as you can see, and also I use this room to make some exercise. I know it's a little bit small, but I can fit myself into that room. So that being said, let's dive into our first topic, which is writing. When it comes to writing, most people assume that writing is not so important because everybody can express themselves more or less, even if they don't have a proper comprehension in writing. Because you can express yourself with your mimics, with your gestures, with your hand moves, and even though you don't have a proper structure when talking in English, somehow the other person can understand you. But writing is amazing for showing you your flaws and your lacking points in English. For example, if you don't know the basic structure of English, you can't have a good writing. Or if you don't know the grammar in a solid way, again, you can't have a proper writing. Or if you don't know how to write down the vocabularies, English vocabularies, again, you can't write. So that's why, if I were you, I wouldn't skip this part and I would focus on writing. And when it comes to writing, there are more than one methods. You can use all of them at the same time, or you can choose one of them and execute it. The first method I want to give you is writing down your goals onto a piece of paper and then writing down 3 things you are grateful for onto a piece of paper every single day, preferably every single morning. This is good for working on your writing skills, but this is more than that, because when you execute this act or habit, let's say, you at the same time work on your mental health. Maybe if you noticed, I try to combine real-life events and actions with English. Because if you want to improve your English, after a certain point, you should start living in English and you should let yourself immerse in this language instead of devoting 1 or 2 specific hours to this language. And if you can understand this video, maybe this is time for you to let yourself immerse in English. If you have the opportunity, if you have the money, or if you have the time, buy a plane ticket, go to UK or US and spend a couple of months in those countries and automatically you will learn English. But if you don't have those opportunities, you should imitate living in those countries by listening in English, reading in English, writing in English, and speaking in English as much as you can. And I use this method every single day. This makes me a better person. Of course, this is not changing my personality completely or my life completely, but this makes me a 5% better individual, and this is more than enough for me to execute this habit. At this point, you might understand why you write down 3 things you are grateful for onto a piece of paper, which is also called as gratitude journaling, because this allows you to remember and understand the things you already have and you can appreciate them when you use this method instead of longing for the things you don't have. But at this point you might ask, okay, but why the hell should I write down my goals onto a piece of paper every single day? I don't even know what my goals are. If you have this question in your mind, I created a video on this channel named as writing down your goals onto a piece of paper or something like that, and I explain the importance of this habit as well as the underlying psychology of doing this thing and how this plays a huge role in your success. If you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend you to watch that video. and I will put the link of that video to the descriptions. Another method you can use is, if you have a journal, if you have a diary in your own native language, switch it to English. Or if you don't have one, maybe you should consider start having a diary. If you have a diary, when you first change it into English, you're gonna notice you can't express yourself and you'll be frustrated probably, because as I assume you use this method for having yourself relaxed at the end of each day. And when you try to write down in English, you will be like, I can't express my thoughts and my feelings and I can't get relaxed. But remember, this is a skill and you will get better and better if you continue making practices in that skill. Gradually you will gain competency and you will be able to express yourself. Another method you can use is summarizing the books you read in English. On the previous video, I told you should read books in English, and when you read those books, you can summarize each book onto one page by using your own sentences. This own sentences part is crucial because you want to work on your writing skills instead of copying the sentence and putting it down onto a piece of paper. This is also another combination of English with a real-life event, because if you execute this habit, you're gonna realize you become a better reader, because you are going to notice which parts are important in a book and which parts are unimportant. Also, when you do this habit, you will memorize the books more, as well as you will digest those books more. They will stick in your brain longer. And another method you can use is writing down the events you experience on any given day, but the events having an impact on you. And writing down what did you feel and what did you think when you experienced those events. This is another combination, and this is about developing your emotional intelligence. If you don't know the importance of emotional intelligence, it plays a key role in a successful and a happy life. Because if you lack emotional intelligence, you won't be aware of your own feelings and you won't know yourself. You will be a stranger to yourself, and this will lead you to make bad decisions because you're not gonna in contact with your own feelings. And this method is amazing for developing your emotional intelligence as well as working on your English writing skills. So this brings us to vocabulary part. When it comes to vocabulary, the first thing we should understand is you can't learn a new vocabulary without a context. You need a phrase or you need a sentence, because human mind and human psychology is designed for learning new vocabularies in a phrase or in a context. So that's why when we want to learn a new vocabulary, we are going to use this technique. You can use a piece of paper and a pen, and you can write down 5 sentences by using the vocabulary you want to learn. Or you can create 10 sentences in your head. Or if you create 10 sentences on a piece of paper, it's even better, but this is going to consume a lot of time. When you're reading books and listening to podcasts, you're going to encounter a lot of new unknown vocabularies. You don't have to learn the meanings of all of them, but if you can't understand the sentence because of that specific unknown vocabulary, or if you are curious about the meaning of that vocabulary, you should learn the meaning. On my previous video, I explained to you how you can learn the correct pronunciation of a new vocabulary, as well as how you can learn the definition in the correct way instead of translating that vocabulary into your native language. If you haven't seen that video yet, this is the time for you to stop this video, going to that one and watching that video from start till the end. Because if you don't know those information, this video is gonna be empty for you. Make sure you watch that video from the link up here, and when you finish watching that video, come and continue to this one. So when you try to learn the pronunciation of new vocabularies, sometimes you're gonna notice that Google doesn't contain the correct pronunciation of those words. And at this time, there's a website that can help you. This website is called as Youglish. And let me show you how Youglish works. At first you open Google, and then to the search bar you type down Youglish. And when you open the site, you will see there are more than one options in terms of English accents. There are US, UK, Australian, Canadian, Irish, Scottish, or whatever is that. And when you want to learn the pronunciation of a new vocabulary, you should write down that vocabulary to this search bar. So let's write down this, and then you search it, and then this website gives you the speeches of native speakers, including the word you are searched for. From this button, you can replay the video, or you can change the video by using this button. And the great thing about this website is you can learn the pronunciation of new vocabularies from native speakers. So, if I were you, I would focus on learning 1 to 3 new vocabularies every single day by writing them down onto a piece of paper and creating 5 sentences with each one of them. And this will also help you to work on your writing skills at the same time. But if I were you, I wouldn't focus on this goal too much. Or maybe you can skip it completely, because if I were you, I would let myself immerse in English and I would start living in English. And gradually, you are gonna learn new vocabularies when you get exposed to them a lot. But if you want to make this process faster, you can use this method. And as I told you, you don't need anybody else to work on those methods, and you don't need to spend a single cent. The only thing you need is being determined. On the next video, I'm gonna talk about how we can improve our speaking without needing anybody else, without speaking anybody else, and without spending a single cent. If you want to learn those information, make sure you watch my videos and make sure you keep following my channel. And that's it for today's video. As always, I want to thank you for watching me in this video. If you like what I'm talking on this channel, you can subscribe to my channel, like my video, and share it with your friends and with your loved ones. By doing those things, you're gonna support me. That's the obvious part, but this is gonna be beneficial to you as well, because the YouTube algorithm will show you similar videos like this one. Since I create educative videos on YouTube, the algorithm will show you more educative videos. You can learn many things from them, and you can enjoy them later. Other than that, take care of yourself until next week, and bye.